Good evening from my side. I think morning at Louise's place, and I think it's evening in the US. So hi, good evening, Mens. So I'm super glad to have you on this call um, to discuss something very important, especially for students and early career professionals looking at landing tech careers, STEM opportunities, and then many other international opportunities. So I'm very glad once again to have you all on this call, and I believe it's going to be a very insightful session. So this session is powered by Peerbooking. Peerbooking basically helps you being a student or an early career professional to get access to any opportunity, any support that you need, being event-based, through resources, and through one-on-one coaching. So today we have with us Victoria Mens and then Louisa Ayonga. I'm super glad to welcome you all. Hi, Victoria. Can you briefly tell us about you, who Victoria is, and your current status?
Hi, Ransford. Thank you so much for organizing this, and I'm truly honored to be here. Most importantly, because I have my mentor here, Louisa.
That's
So,
right.
um, so yes, everybody. My name is Victoria Mens. I am currently in my getting to my final year at New York University, and I'm reading biomedical engineering. I had my undergraduate education in Ghana at Academic City University, and I also read biomedical engineering. I've known Ransford since I was in first year, I guess, and I see some very familiar faces here. I see Robert, so I'm very glad to be here. Excited to share some of my experiences and little things that I've learned along the way. So thank you again, Ransford, for having me.
Awesome,
And
awesome.
I'm sorry
That's wonderful.
if it looks like I'm looking elsewhere, but I'm here with you all. I'm really
Yeah,
looking
we know we
forward
have 32 screens, so yeah, all
yeah.
covered. Yeah, so let's hear from Louisa.
Okay, hi everyone. Excuse the coarse voice. Woke up not long ago. It's really early here. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I have with me Victoria. I've seen Ransford here and there, probably on LinkedIn mostly. I'm excited to share what I know, how we could best help each other out here. I am Louisa. I'm currently studying my master's in South Korea, beginning this September actually, in computer engineering, majoring in AI applications in the healthcare sector. Uh, I did my undergraduate study also at Academic City University with Victoria Mens as well. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Welcome once again. So, I mean, these are people I've known for a while now. Victoria, I've been working with Victoria on a lot, and they made my days at Academic City. I mean, I've got to spend some days at Academic City because of them. And then Louisa actually helped me. I mean, I remember, I think second university year through robotics competitions, Academic City Tech Expo challenge. I was there,
Oh,
and yeah, she was then the robotics president, I guess. So it was amazing. So it means that we kind of have a family in here to discuss very important issues. So this webinar is part of the 3 day series that we had on creating a strong career portfolio and boosting recruitment chance. The first day had you get Hagan, an intern at City of Detroit, and then a rising junior, yeah, I guess, at the Soccer University of America. And then second day had the first day had Tracy, sorry, and then second day had Gates. And then this is the last day and the third day having Louisa and Victoria on board. So it's going to be the innovators portfolio. Okay, so basically how they are bridging technical skills with social impact. So we are all so curious as to what they have for us. So I would kindly urge you to tune your brains, tune your minds, get your book, and then stay connected to with us throughout this session. So I think I'll start from Victoria. Victoria, so let's talk about global transitions. Okay, so you transitioned from a first class degree in Ghana to New York University. So, how did you structure your portfolio to prove your readiness for an international high tier research environment?
Um, Thank you, Ransford. This sounds like a pretty familiar question that I've been getting a lot in my WhatsApp DMs, but I believe that everybody or every student, I want to believe or like I'm speaking to undergrads or maybe fresh graduates, right? So that I know what to say and what not to say and what will be very relevant to the audience.
Okay, so these are undergrads, so I think most of them are undergraduates. So I think in their final junior years, yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. So I don't think I did something extremely special. Mainly, what I did was that I knew I definitely wanted to go deeper into biomedical engineering. So I ensured that most of the things that I was putting in my documents or my application files for graduate school were very relevant to the program that I wanted to read. And I'm very sure you all will hear or you have probably come across so many stories, advice about how to structure your portfolio to, get into the right school. But I want to believe that most of these things there is no one size fits all here. So I don't really want to give you my apple or my exact strategy to just copy and paste. It might not work, it might work for other people, but mainly what you would want to do or what I did was that since I knew that I wanted to go into biomedical engineering, first of all, I highlighted most of the BME related internships that I had done. I was also kind of positioning myself on the digital space for people to know that, oh, this lady is into biomedical engineering, and in case I apply to a school and they look me up, they would know that this is a field that I'm really passionate about and I've been talking a lot about. I side academics. I mean, you have to get a good grade, you have to do all of the good things, you have to be a good student, get the perfect scores, not the perfect scores, but get great scores that will help you get into some of these global schools, I guess. And if you are targeting a global university, you would want to first of all make sure that you are hitting their eligibility criteria. Yeah, so most of them would demand that at least you have a 3.3 GPA or 3.5. So make sure you are getting that. And if you are fortunate, I should say, to get exposed to extracurricular activities, leadership positions, I'm sure Louisa will talk a lot about leadership positions because she was the robotics club president at Academic City University. So if you have the opportunity to pop on some of these things, please do them freely because if you put them in your applications, they go beyond academics. They speak more of you, right? And most of these guys or most of the admission officers in some of these schools are looking for students who are outside academics, who do well outside academics, because graduate school it goes way beyond academics. They need people who are resilient, people who are independent. They need that. So hopping on some of these projects, learning leadership skills, people management skills, communication, independence, strategy, and all of that really helps position you um, and prove that yeah you are really ready for some of these opportunities. In terms of research, I did not do a lot of that in undergrad. The only proper research I did, I should say, was during my final year. I worked on this prediction module using ML, and it went pretty well. So I did not have an extensive research experience to get into NYU, but I guess my academic grades and maybe some of the leadership skills and perhaps my references and all of those things came together. So like I said, there is no one size fits all. There is no do this, do that, and you will get into Harvard or Stanford.
Yeah.
It's mainly based on you and how you structure and put for your application. So if any of you is thinking about doing a master's or a PhD outside Ghana, I really wish you well and I hope that you get into your dream
Yeah.
schools.
All the best to you
I
all.
hope that answered the question.
Yeah, it does. It did. Sorry. So, um, I
You're
think.
muted.
Oops. Yeah, yes. So it did. It actually did answer the questions far beyond my expectation. Because I think one thing that you mentioned was there's no one size fits all. Right. So you mentioned of leadership, you mentioned academic grades. So leadership, no, I think Mens is not talking about only going for agenda or politics. Or, you can be a leader in your various, ways, in various ways, in its team, groups, and many others. So we move on to the next question. Um, I think this one is going for Louisa. So I want us to address the data gap, addressing the data gap. So your work, I think from your portfolio, your work focuses much on African healthcare data gap. And so how can students turn a research problem or lack of resources into a compelling centerpiece for their portfolio? For example, if you talk of data gap, you all know infrastructure aspects. Ghana or Africa is lagging when it comes to that because most systems are not, we are underrepresented in a lot of innovations. So kind of converting that into the portfolio aspect. That how does a student turn a research problem or the lack of resources into a compelling centerpiece for their portfolio?
Okay, so we should look at a portfolio as a story of problems that you're keen on solving. So it shouldn't be, don't think of portfolio as all the technical problems that I've solved or all your projects that you're working on and stuff. It could be things that you're committed to solving, things that are back in society that you genuinely care about. Because once you have that as a focus, then you more like have a lean way of going through it. So it's not like you're all over the place, but then you know where you're going and you know like how you're going to do it. So I think yeah, one of the misconceptions is that okay, if I have a very big project on my portfolio, then that's definitely going to help me. I know I didn't have that. I just like Ransford said, I encountered a problem during my final year. AI machine learning isn't something that I started with, it's something that I sort of branched to. So there was a lot to be learned. And yeah, identifying that data gap was a turning point for me. And that's what I turned into like my portfolio. I haven't solved that problem yet. And like I said, it should be something that you're keen on solving. So your portfolio should have something like, okay, it should answer these questions. For example, can this person identify a problem? And if they identify that problem, how do they navigate it? How do they keep working on it? How do they show up? You get it? So stuff like that. So in my case, for data bridge, we realized that oh, there's a big problem when it comes to getting healthcare data to train our AI models or to work on research or projects in our part of the continent, right? How do we solve that problem? That became my centerpiece. So I think you should also do the same for you. Probably you're working on something or you've thought of something. You don't have to solve the problem to put that in your portfolio. It could be your website, it could be your LinkedIn, wherever it is. You don't have to solve it to put it there. It doesn't have to be big. You just have to have a storyline and you have to document the journey as well. and you have to talk about it with people just to make it known, because you never know who knows who, and never know who could recommend you to someone. Yes, so
Yeah,
you just keep yeah, you just keep going with it. You don't have to be ready. You don't have to, solve the problem to put it there. You could just keep solving as you go. I don't know if
awesome.
that answers the
Yeah,
question.
so
Yeah.
I mean that's a very great point that you made out there. You don't have to feel full before you get your portfolio updated. It's a progressive thing, right? So you keep updating it as you solve the issue. And so Louisa recognized that problem. Hey, there's something that is challenging when it comes to Africa, and that should define me. So maybe now I can define Louisa as a data lady, like when it comes to African healthcare. So I mean, every recruiter would see her as when it comes to data, there's Louisa. You get the point. So that kind of makes your goal specific. Thank you very much for such a very strong point, Louisa. So this goes to the two of you. So maybe you can take it from Louisa first, then Mens will come in. So there's the impact factor. Both of you have led major robotics competitions. For Mens, I remember from Firefly IO times, and then Louisa, I know from Academic City Robotics times, and then a lot of mentoring programs. So in a technical recruitment process, I mean, you've been through interviews, you've been through a lot of process. How do you quantify the value of community impact so it doesn't just look like a hobby? This question sounds so funny to me because I mean, how do you measure your volunteer community impact volunteer services? Yes, services to a technical recruiter for them to see, okay, I've done this even though I'm a software engineering aspirant. Yeah. So, Louisa, maybe you could come first.
Okay, so you should treat your volunteer work or your community work as a technical project, and you should talk about it as such to a recruiter. So instead of saying that, oh, I volunteered in this, I volunteered to do this ABC, what came out of that volunteer activity? So you tell them the results. So a while back, this was sort of a volunteer thing I did where we mentored over 150 girls in STEM. They were all from like high schools, and it was all on like satellite robotics, building like a CubeSat and stuff like that. So I could say, oh, I volunteered to work on a project with students. So it could be, okay, I mentored 150 students in STEM. We coordinated a workshop that involved like multiple people. I, together with like my co-tutors, we developed a tutoring module. So you have to bring out like the tangible results that came out of the volunteer activity or out of the community activity, so it doesn't look like, oh, you're just killing time with a hobby. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I think these are clear points. I mean, you established something, you brought out something new, right? So, definitely going the community impacts program means there's a problem you want to solve in the community. And so you create your KPIs, that I mean indicators that shows that you've measured that outcome. Then now you present the outcome to the recruiters, and that's what Louisa made mention of quantifying, measuring them in terms of the people you've impacted and an exact thing that these people actually benefit. So thank you very much for such a wonderful insight. So I'll get Men's view on that. So Men's, what do you think about that? I know you the days when you were going to Eastern region and you're living at Academic City to be hungry. So yeah, so uh, I mean, tell us about how you were able to tell that story. taking a car from Academy City to the Eastern region back and forth all the time. I think your microphone is off. Yeah,
My bad.
yeah,
Thank you again, Ransford. I think Louisa made a very profound point in her first submission. She spoke about like identifying a problem. I think this is something I learned somewhere in junior high school, but we tend to overlook that aspect of problem solving. Like the very first thing you need to do is to actually identify the problem. And I'm very sure there are problems all around us, but I don't know, maybe we are just too busy focusing on solving the problem instead of identifying it in the first place. So I just thought that was something profound to emphasize. But about this question, how do you quantify the value of community impact so it doesn't just look like a hobby? See, I'm a very selfish person, and I love doing things that make me happy. And if that thing that makes me happy make other people happy, that's good. Like double, double pleasure or double impact. So if I'm taking something as a hobby, and I'm sure as we all know, you call something a hobby when you are doing that for pleasure or just relaxation, like reading, traveling, doing all of those things. But when you talk about community impact, I think it goes beyond a hobby. And what recruiters or technical recruiters really want to know is that thing. What actually goes beyond that hobby. So they are looking mainly for the things you learned when performing that activity. And I believe that most times when we are presenting ourselves or explaining ourselves in this context, we tend to focus more on how we impacted the third party. That's if you organize a robotics competition, how you impacted the people who participated in the robotics competition instead of how that thing impacted you. So perhaps it improved your communication skills, your leadership skills, how you solve problems. People want to know some of these things. And as you mentioned them, you are saying that in addition to how it impacted the actual participants. So Louisa mentioned something about the numbers. Let's say you could say you mentored 150 students in STEM, and at the end, this is what happened, right? So recruiters want to know that, they want to know numbers. They want to know that after that hobby, you actually transformed, something in you changed. So you could mention a few things, and these guys want to be vibed. Like, if you have done something, really prove that you have done it. Tell them what you have learned. So there is no point to be shy or feel like you are overselling yourself. You did that. So tell us the good things that you learned from that activity and how that activity impacted the beneficiaries, I should say. So that's what I
exactly.
do. And that's what I'll do.
Awesome. So I think these are two solid contributions when it comes to the impact factor. I mean, the impact factor alone should tell how you could quantify your community impact. Because I mean, if you before you can get a factor, I mean, it's based on different things. I mean, if you say a factor, it means there's an equation. And if so far as there's an equation, there should be a result, right? The equation helps you to get a result. So Mens emphasized on what Louisa said with respect to problem identification. And now in the pipeline, make sure you get how would you tell whether that problem has been solved? Right? And sometimes you basically go in to solve a problem to treat yourself. Maybe you have a communication skill problem. You realize that your community also have that. But out of helping those out there, you also tend to improve your communication skills. And these are things people tend to sell how they help others without telling how that the others also help them. And so that's what mentioned. So I think that's one thing I've also learned right now, and I believe we would incorporate that as we move on. So, if you want to get access to Louisa, Victoria, any of them. As for Victoria, I think Victoria is available to talk to you guys, not on a paid price or something. So far as she has the time, she can always you can always schedule a meeting with her, and then you can talk about however she can help you, right? So if you want to get access to some paid coaches on peer booking, um, you can redeem these vouchers here by referring 10 people. So you can sign up to peer booking at peerbooking.live. There's a refer button. You get a link, refer up to 10 people, and get at least 3 coaches to sign up to also render services. When we say coaches, we don't mean people who have made it. No. We mean who has competence in a certain skill. So if you can do Python, you can do content creation, you can also teach others on campus or any other area. So you sign up, take a screenshot, and then share with us via the form that you see. So you can scan a QR code and then do that exercise perfectly. So moving on to our last but one session, mostly peer booking sessions are just 30 minutes. So I would want to know, Mens, you are interested in AI-driven diagnostics. I mean, that's one of the fields that you are most interested in when it comes to biomedical engineering. So when applying for specific niche like health tech and many others, how do you create a portfolio to show depth without excluding other opportunities?
This is a tough one. Um,
Yeah, so you call it
you
a
need to
specialized
show,
branding.
yes, you need to show recruiters what they want to see, and what they want to see is what they put on the job board. That's the job description. So if that's mainly talking about health technology diagnostics, AIML, and you put more things about community impact, they wouldn't love to know that, although you have skills in those areas. So this is a hard one to balance, but I always make sure that I am giving them what they want to see, first of all. So if I am applying for a health tech related thing, I make sure most of my experiences and the projects that are on my CV or on my cover letter speak to the job description, instead of trying to spread my cross across, like across board, and show them that this is Victorian. I do a lot of things and I can do the work for you, and they don't like that. But if you are able to structure your portfolio in a way that grabs the attention, and you are fortunate enough to be invited to an interview, that is the place you get to show them that, oh, I learned communication skills in this project, in this leadership, seminar, in this group that I led, and that is how I am able to communicate to you this way, and through these skills that I learned from these projects, I can be a valuable asset to your team, blah, blah, blah. So please always make sure that you are giving them what they need. Although you might be stretched out across different domains and different disciplines, make sure you are giving them what they want to see at that time. If it is health tech, give them health tech related projects. And then you can talk just a little bit about your hobbies and a few things that might be related to the job description as well. Like I said, if you get invited to an interview, that is where you can talk more outside of what you put on your CV. And I remember I did an interview recently, my God. I didn't get a job, but it was with Johnson and Johnson. And after answering all the questions, I thought I was doing well. But before the interview started, this woman was like, "Don't repeat what you have on your CV to me. I have already gone through that." And I'm like, God, this is going to be a very tough interview. Yes, it was crazy.
Wow.
She was not serious. She told me, "Don't repeat what you have on your CV to me. I already have your CV opened." So at that point, I just had to think through so many things, what I've done in the past and the likes. So if I had put everything on my CV, I would just say that, "Oh, I did it." And she'd be like, "No, I have that on your CV. I did it." And she'd be like, "I have that
Yeah.
on your CV." So this is just, a way to curate your CV specific to the ask.
Awesome. 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 Wow, that's a very great tip that you have there right now. So I hope guys you got some I mean tips here because this one thing that most people don't really pay attention to. because you always feel like I have to get 3 pages of, I mean, CV to tell
No,
people
and
that,
people don't
hey,
do that. They take
yeah,
about 5 seconds to skim through.
exactly, exactly. So I think that's a great tip out there. So going to the last question for this session. Um, I want to emphasize on mentorship as growth. So you both emphasize mentorship. I mean, you've been doing lots of mentorship. You've been mentored, and then you've also mentored. How has being a mentor, like founding a scholars project, when it comes to Louisa, helped you refine your own career narrative and leadership skills for potential employees? And I think that's going to be, this will kind of boost most of your interest in joining peer booking as a coach to help others. So we want to learn from them how being a mentor helped them to refine their own career narrative and leadership for potential employees. So I think we'll start from Louisa and then we'll end the session with Victoria. Hi, Louisa.
Um, yeah. So throughout this journey that I've been a mentor to others, I consider I think it goes both ways. I mean, personally, for me, it goes both ways because as I'm mentoring, I'm indirectly being mentored. And one thing I've learned throughout the whole process is that the best way to discover what you know is to teach it, right? If you can't teach it, then you don't know it. And the more you teach it, it makes you a better engineer, a better researcher, or in whatever field that you want to branch into. So when you mention someone, like I said, it goes both ways. You're not just sharing your knowledge, you're teaching them how you got there and how you would navigate certain scenarios or certain situations. And you hear their perspectives as well. And hearing from them can also help like guide you in a way. Yeah, so if you're thinking about whether should I be a mentor, should I not, don't look at it as okay, I have to teach someone something. Think, okay, I have to share what I know with someone and also hear their perspective because in this world you can't go alone, right? Wherever you're going, you can't go alone. You have to share what you know and be willing to learn in the process. Because if you're not willing to learn or if you don't go into such spaces with an open mind, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, but I don't want to say you're not going to succeed, but it's going to be a hard road ahead. Because if you're not ready to unlearn, it's going to be difficult. So you have to be ready to unlearn anytime as a mentor. When you're teaching someone, you learn things along the way. So you should be ready to let go of certain things and embrace certain things. And yeah, it'll help you when you're collaborating in the future with like future big projects or big teams, or when you're put into like bigger leadership positions. That will all come in handy. So yeah,
Awesome.
discover, yeah. So mentoring can help you discover what you know more and help you be a better like engineer or researcher.
Amazing. So if you don't teach, it means you don't know. I mean, so kind of teach
If
others
you
to
can't
prove.
if you can't teach it, then you don't know
Yeah,
it
if
well
you can't
enough.
teach it, yeah, if you can't teach it, means you don't know it well enough. So let's hear the last words from Victoria.
I think Louisa has said it all. I would like to take it from the other angle, like being mentored. Maybe you might feel that, oh, you know quite a lot about your field and you don't need to be mentored, or you can learn most of the things by yourself. Of course, you can. But well, let me talk about my experience. I love to be mentored, and every little experience I get, I want somebody to mentor me because I'm someone who I love speed, right? I don't want to struggle in life. I don't want to make the mistakes people have already made and discovered that they could have gone the other route. So if I have an opportunity to be mentored by someone who is at least even a year older than me, or a year older in experience than me, I would love to be mentored, learn a lot from that person, especially about the failures. I mean, when it comes to success, there are so many ways to success, and people can go different routes and still be successful. But it looks like failure has a definitive plan. If you are do this, you it is sure
You-
you are going to fail.
yeah.
It is sure you are going to fail. And at certain points in life, you might think that that path is the actual path to success. So if you are not mentored and guided onto the right path, you might be going through the path of failure, thinking that is actually leading you into success. That is one. Mentorship helps you to fetch out people's mistakes and then give you the advantage of speed so that you don't make those same mistakes. The second thing is that for me, mentorship goes beyond technical stuff. I talk to my mentors about some really in-depth and emotional things. So if you feel like you don't really have friends to talk to about certain things, you can always talk to your mentor about it. If you are like that with your mentor, like I am with Louisa, we can be on the call for like hours talking about random things aside academics or AI or ML. And it's always exciting and kind of relieving to have people like her in my life where, I can just call and talk about some of these things. So it helps a lot. Get a mentor, especially if you are planning to um study abroad. It will help you so much. They have a lot of resources to share with you. They have gone through a lot of failures they can share with you. And even if they haven't, they know people who have failed at certain things and they can direct you so that you go on to the right path. Unless you want to, go through failure
Yeah.
and learn.
I want a story to tell.
Done.
I want a story to tell. So, yeah, I mean, I think one thing Mens mentioned, like failure has a deterministic approach. As for this, you will definitely fail. So, I mean, getting someone who has that trick or kind of have a fair idea around that helps a lot, so that you don't get into that what's the name, that trap. Yes. So I think this has been very insightful, especially to me, and I believe to almost everyone on this call. I mean, we have a mentor and mentee here on this call, Louisa and Victoria. I mean,
Yeah,
Victoria is also my mentor, So there's a
that's
food
good.
chain. Yeah, there's a food chain. So,
It's
guys,
a food web, actually. It is messy.
so maybe I can just give one person a chance, if any, to ask a question. This is so unusual of peer booking events, but then if you have a question, just one question, you can show your hand and then I call you to for you to ask your question. Any questions from? Okay, so Kwiku Echampo has a question. All right, so you can unmute and ask your question. Hi, Kwiku. We can't hear you. Maybe you can test your question in a chat. Okay, so whilst we wait for Kweku to ask his question, um, Peerbooking has a resources, so they are created list of or collection of resources on Peerbooking. So you can go to peerbooking.live and then go for the resources. These are free. All our events are free. You can check out for resources and event based on your goals. And especially the recording of this session will be made available on the platform. So you can also check recordings of previous sessions. For example, ones on ML research methodologies, um, bigger mistakes students make, and many others. Videos, PDF, document, links, many others available on the platform for free. So peer booking now has two sides, the coaching side and those who be coaching. So if you know anything, not just academics, you can help people with UI design, you can teach per hour, per minute, you can mentor people, you can provide services to people. Think of it as Fiverr or Upwork for campuses or for peers. Just list your services there. Just that we run through a very thorough scrutiny to get people on board to avoid any issues or cases. So you just submit, go to peer booking on live, you will see the become a coach button. Just click on it, submit your details. We will run through some review. If there's a need for an interview, you get a message for a very quick interview, like 5 minutes interview, to help us get you on board for you to start earning whilst helping others. So Kwekwe Champon, are you available now? Um I don't know if your microphone is still working. All right. So maybe you can reach out to peer booking. You can search for peer booking on LinkedIn, IG, Facebook, or X. Send us a text with a question. We'll direct it to the speakers and then we'll get back to you. So to end a session, you can go to peer booking or live, get your referral link, search for your referral link, send it to others, about 10 people to sign up, and at least 3 coaches to sign up. Take a screenshot and share to the phone via the QR code here to get about $20 voucher code to access any coach that you want to mention. You might find very important coaches on the platform. So this will be very valuable to the career field that you want to go into. Thank you very much for joining this session. I'm Ransford and I'm the founder at Peerbooking. We have a lot of events for you upcoming, we have a lot of resources, and a lot of coaches to be onboarded. I will see you on the next event. Until then, have a good night and enjoy the rest of your evenings and nights. Bye.
Please, can I be heard?